Welcome to another edition of Inside PressBox presented by Maryland Mutual Mortgage. I'm your host, Stan the Fan Charles. Charlotte Hedrick of Mud Chasers is here to explain what's going on in Sparks next weekend, where an adventurous group of people will run through the Hay Pyramid and over the Camel Hills on the way to Mud Heaven. Ray Schulte of Schulte Auctions is also coming in to show us some of the great items up for auction at the Charm City Heroes Autograph and Collectibles Show, coming to the Pikesville Hilton in April on the 22nd and 23rd. But our first guest is Jim Paquette, the athletic director at Loyola, who's here to talk Greyhound sports and some of the ups and downs of being an athletic director. Jim, welcome to the show. It's good to see you again.
Stan, thanks for having me back.
I'd love to have you back. It's been close to a year since you've been here. What has surprised you about the job? What has disappointed you, if there have been any disappointments? Tell us about your first year on the job.
Sure. It's been a quick first year. I'm really enjoying Loyola, really love Baltimore. And I think it's a lot like going from being an assistant coach to a head coach. You know, now instead of making recommendations, you're making a decision. And you get to call the timeouts. Now when I was an assistant AD, I used to look at the athletic director and say, what the heck does he do? Now as an AD, I'm looking at all my assistant athletic directors and say, what the heck do they do? But it's been great. We've had a lot of success. Women's basketball went to the WNIT, which was only the third postseason Division I in the history of Loyola Athletics. We went down to Old Dominion and beat them in their building, where they've gone to 22 NCAA championships. Came back, hosted University of Virginia in the first Division I on-campus game for them. So women's basketball had a great year, and we're now kind of transitioning over to lacrosse season.
And the women are number 4, I'm told, in the country right now?
On fire, Stan.
Yeah.
Jen Adams has done a magnificent job. We're 10-0. We beat Virginia earlier this season. We beat Notre Dame last weekend. We're right now the leaders in the Big East Conference, and so high aspirations for the women's lacrosse team.
She's a remarkable woman, Jen Adams. Now listen, you haven't had the tough call yet to terminate a coach or ask for their resignation, but your cohort over at Towson, who you know pretty well, Mike Waddell, also new to the area, he recently asked for the resignation of Pat Kennedy. And let's listen in on some key words that he was using to describe the perfect hire just the other day at Towson.
And some of the key words that we looked at and we studied along with the feedback from the campus group was integrity, energy, attitude, experience as a head coach. We wanted somebody that had head coaching experience. Also, we wanted a winner, somebody that was used to putting on one of these, the championship ring, because that's what it's all about. When you come to a university, the caliber of Towson, it's about R&D. On the academic side, that's research and development. In the athletic sides, that's rings and diplomas. That's what we're about here.
Rings and diplomas. Jim, could you have said it any better than that?
Mike has a way with words. We've become good friends, the 2 new ADs in Baltimore. And, you know, I think he's done a great job with this hire. Tom Skeery, I'm familiar with Pat Skeery, pardon me. I'm familiar with him from being from the New England area. Coached at Providence, coached at University of Rhode Island, was at Pittsburgh. So we're looking forward to competing with him.
Let me ask you, when Mike talks, though, it's about rings, you know, and diplomas, what are the realistic aspirations for schools at that level? I mean, do they really think that they can win rings on the national level in men's basketball?
Well,
or is he talking about the lacrosses, swimmings, and things like that?
I think, Stan, the goal is, you know, for all of our sports at Loyola is to win the conference championship. And if you win the conference championship, you're going to get the opportunity to compete in the NCAA tournament. And if we've seen from Butler, George Mason, VCU, if you can get there, you got a chance. So I think it's really competing for that conference championship and getting the opportunity then to be on that national stage.
Tell us a little bit in the remaining time. We got about a minute and a half. Your relationship with Mike. You guys played each other in men's basketball this year in a bracket buster game, and it was a lot of fun because you could brag that you beat Mike's team. But sort of everybody did this past year. Is this going to lead to a renewal of this cross-street rivalry?
Yeah, Mike and I are having active discussions about, we really feel that Loyola and Towson should be playing each other regularly. We play in most sports, but we're going to do that in basketball going forward. We haven't signed the contract yet. We're there in spirit. We just think it's the right thing to do.
The lacrosse facility, the Ridley Athletic Center, it's in its second season of lacrosse. What have the early reports been from fans, from teams that come in? That's a terrific facility.
Yeah, it is the best college lacrosse soccer facility that I've ever been to. And we actually added parking the past year. We added about 500 parking spots. We had our home opener with Virginia and Navy this year. We beat both of them. We had a crowd of north of 3,000 people. So it is world class, and it's really worth people in the Baltimore area coming out and visiting us. And I think it's going to really help our lacrosse teams compete nationally.
Now, when I had you on right after you were hired last year, Jimmy Paquette was being wooed a little bit by St. John's, and you worked it out there. How serious was he considering leaving?
You'd have to ask Jimmy that. I mean, we had a conversation, and it really comes down to, do you want to be a head coach, or do you be an assistant coach?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that only Jimmy could answer that question.
All right. Jimmy, we really appreciate your coming in again. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks for
we wish
having
you
me,
the
Stan.
best of the rest of the season. Jen Adams has got that team. They're dangerous.
We're lucky to have her.
All right. Keep her.
Thank you.
All right. Before the break, we want to take a look at this new head coach at Towson University, and that's Pat Skeery. Let's listen to what he had to say after his press conference about the expectations for Towson men's basketball. What gives you the impression it's ready to take off? Is that something you see in the program or you see in yourself?
Well, I think both, and I think a lot of people that I've talked to that I respect in basketball, whether it's high school and AAU coaches or coaches in this conference, feel like the place has a lot to offer and that it can always take off. Everyone's always been telling me over the last few weeks, hey, that's a sleeping giant, and I feel the same way about it, and that's why I'm here.
All right, Gary Williams made headlines this week when NC State Athletic Director Debbie Yao accused Williams of trying to sabotage her search for a new men's head basketball coach after the incident. I wrote a column about Williams for CSNBaltimore.com, and John Eisenberg also weighed in on the Yao-Williams feud. You can read both articles at CSNBaltimore.com.